This EP has been something that I've wanted to do for quite some time, in terms of getting back to primarily instrumental, soul, R&B, easy listening music. The idea for this came about from my background being as an arranger and an orchestrator. Even though I've written arrangements for many other artists and have written songs for quite a few of them as well, I hadn't really done a full orchestral recording under my own name before, which has been something I've always wanted to do and now felt like the right time to do it. The ideas for the EP came about from inspirations of mine, such as the great Tom Bell, the Philadelphia soul composer who wrote and produced so many great songs for artists like the Stylistics, the Delphonics, the Spinners, Dionne Warwick, Johnny Mathis, people like that. And as a composer, he used instrumentation as a way of creating a mood in the music, which is something that I've always wanted to, or I've always tried to tap into. Something that I feel that I've attempted to do on this EP. Other influences, people like Burt Bacharach, Henry Mancini, Gamble and Huff, Holland Dozier Holland, how they all used instrumentation and arranging as a way of creating a mood in each song. Some of the previous productions I've done include records for Dayton Gray, Hayley Rear Christian, Stevie King, Michael Williams. And with each one of those artists I've worked with, a different style of arrangement, a different sort of orchestration and instrumentation is required because each thing is completely different. And so when you're writing for a singer and you're doing the arrangement as well, your whole role is supporting that singer in with them being the primary focus of the recording. When you're writing instrumental music, you don't necessarily have that focus, so it's all down to the orchestration, it's all down to the arrangement, because that is what's taking the center attention. There was one song, a vocal song on this EP, where we did use the instrumentation to best support the singer, and not to overwhelm the vocal, not to draw attention away from it, but just simply to sit there as a support for the vocal line, which I thought we did quite well.
So the approach with the recording and the mixing of this EP was to make everything as authentic as possible. It's really easy to over-tweak things, and I think because of the artists that Alex is influenced by, it's been really important to keep everything as natural as possible. And with his arrangements, he writes so naturally anyway that really, as long as everything is balanced and everything is sounding nice, you want to tweak things as little as possible.
The 4 songs on this EP each hold their own as their own individual piece, but they do work as a theme together as well, being predominantly instrumental, using the same musicians, using the same style of arrangement. The first tune, Yesteryear Feels Like Yesterday, is very much paying tribute to the Philadelphia soul sound, which has been probably my biggest inspiration as a composer and as an arranger, especially for the composer Tom Bell. Just use the way I arranged the strings, the way the woodwind worked on it was very much in keeping with that sort of style, and everything sits with that tune. There is nothing that sort of stands out as a main focal point. It's the star of that tune is meant to be the arrangement, and so everything sits together and sits comfortably. The next song on the EP is You Don't Have to Prove 'Em a Fool, which is the only vocal on the EP, sung beautifully by Emma Watson, who really tapped into the sort of Karen Carpenter style of singing, or the Dionne Warwick style of singing that I was really going for with this tune, because it's very much a Burt Bacharach, Hal David influenced number, and again using instrumentation that has been tried and tested by those composers as well, and just adding my own flair as well, my own style on top of it. We went for what I feel was very much a kind of soul, easy listening ballad, and something that I've wanted to do for quite some time on a recording. The third track on the EP is an instrumental called I Count the Tears, which is very in keeping with the sort of Gamble and Huff style of Philadelphia Soul, the big punching horn lines, that kind of sort of four to the floor disco groove. And again, it's something that I would have used with a vocalist prior to doing this EP, but we didn't have a singer on this, so the horn section takes focal point in the same way as groups like Tower of Power or the Memphis Horns or the Bar-Kays would have a horn section as being their primary focus. So this is the kind of the more brass heavy of the tunes on the EP. The final tune on the recording is an instrumental called Rain on Piccadilly Circus, which is very much influenced by one of my heroes, which is the great composer Henry Mancini, who, as well as being a great film composer and being a great composer in general, was a incredible orchestrator, and knew just how to set a mood in the music, which is something that I really wanted to accomplish with this EP. Rain on Piccadilly Circus is almost slightly biographical in the sense of working in London as a musician. Everything's very much bustling. You're constantly moving. It's quite a busy environment. But if you stop, there is beauty in all of that as well. And I remember, I used to always catch the tube to Piccadilly Circus station, and I would walk to whichever session I was working on, or wherever I was working in London if I was working in the West End. And if it rained, there was some sort of peace in what is normally a very bustling area, and it's something that stayed with me. And when I started writing this piece, that was the title that came to mind. And it rounds off the EP in a quite easy listening, smooth way, and sort of brings it round to a nice open finish. So overall, though, this EP has been a real labour of love. It's something I've wanted to do for a long time as a musician, going back to my roots as working on predominantly instrumental music. And I hope everyone really likes it. It's been a joy to work with such a fantastic bunch of people. So a huge thanks to, first and foremost, Josh Westrip, who has been a fantastic engineer and has been my right-hand man with this project and all the other projects we've done over the years for different artists, and his studio in Devon. Also the fantastic musicians, all the great string players, the horn players, the rhythm section, Emma Watson for singing, You Don't Have to Prove 'Em a Fool. Also a big thank you to David Nathan from Soul Music Records for his support and guidance, and for giving us the opportunity to put this out on a digital platform along with Warner X5. And it's been a real thrill. And also thank you to all the great DJs who've been playing this music on the radio, all the journalists for their words of kindness and support, and for everybody for listening and for enjoying and sharing and buying and playing it. It's we couldn't do it without you. So it's a real pleasure to be able to present this EP to you, and to thank you for all your years of support as well.